Welcome back, folks, to Run Amok. I'm your host, Jamin Takar. Of course, hey, don't mind all this. Of course, some of y'all may know I'm a Niner fan. Clearly, you can see the flag in the back. If you're new to this, of course, like I just said, I'm Jamin Takar. This is Run Amok. I try to be as unbiased towards the 49ers as I can, but if you are a 49er fan, go check out my Gold Rush podcast where I focus on the 49ers, where I can be a little more biased. Here, I try to open up more. I try to talk about the other teams, this and that. And this is technically kind of like my first episode, it feels like. Last time I recorded for Run Amok, it was training camp. And now here we are at the end of the season. Wow, what a fast season, huh? Yeah, I've been lacking, and I really do apologize. So, yes. NFC, AFC championship game. It was championship weekend, folks. I was, again, a Niner fan, so my voice feels gone. I just recorded NFC recap for there. Here I'm going to be talking about the AFC game and the NFC game as well. More unbiased side, though. Yeah, so bear with me. I am doing 14 days of the Super Bowl per my girlfriend. She challenged me to it, so we're going to try to do it. It is the night of the NFC Championship game, AFC. So hopefully I get this video out in time. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but it will be pretty cool. Let's start things off with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens, the AFC Championship game. The Ravens came in here as favorites, I believe. And, hey, even I picked them originally. But when I made my championship predictions on TikTok, I did pick the Kansas City Chiefs, and they went on and got the dub 17-10. What a performance from the Kansas City defense. You got to give credit where credit is due there. Lamar Jackson was playing at an MVP talent. And he still probably is the league MVP. But boy, the Chiefs shut him down. Sending a lot of pressure. The Chiefs were getting to Lamar. He still was able to get his rushing. He only ran for 8 times for 54 carries. I feel like this is where the Baltimore Ravens really let wrong. They let go of the run really early, it seems. Gus Edwards, 3 carries. Zay Flowers, 2 carries. Justice Hill, 3 carries. That's it. And then, of course, Lamar, 8 carries, but that's it. The Baltimore Ravens, you got to run the ball a lot more, man. You had Lamar Jackson throwing 37 times, which doesn't sound like that much because there was a lot of 3 and outs. There was a lot of quick offensive possessions. The Chiefs dominated the clock, and they only scored 17 points. Think about that for a second. Let me see if I can actually pull up the exact time of possession. The Chiefs had the ball 37 minutes versus the Ravens 22. That's pretty significant. And again, Chiefs only put up 17 points. Kind of a great performance by the Ravens defense. The Ravens defense, they held their own. The offense could not get going. So like every time that was in, there was a 3 and out. It was this, there was that. I mean, let's see how many times they punt. 5 punts. 5 punts. That's tough. That's tough. As the Baltimore Ravens, the 1 seed, you're at home. You've got to be better than that. Lamar Jackson had his fair share of bad plays, of course, but this game was truly, it didn't really feel like it was on him. Yes, what I will say, though, he tried to make a lot out of nothing. It was a lot of times where he could just take the open check down. There was an open drag route right in front of his face, but he was lobbing it, 20, 30, 40 yards downfield. He was going for the money shot a lot. Your number 1 receiver is Zay Flowers, who is like, I don't even know if he's 6 foot. Respectfully, Nelson Aguilar, who's how old? And then Odell Beckham Jr. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Let's play it safe. Take the open guy, And I do think that if they do that, if they played a little bit more conservative, they probably win this game because the Ravens defense was so elite. Now, they didn't get any picks off on Mahomes, but they slowed the Chiefs down enough. Mahomes went 30 for 39, 241 yards and a touchdown. So those are pretty good stats. Hey, he took what the Ravens gave him. He took what he gave. Okay, this isn't working. We'll do that. They ran a lot of screen passes. Isaiah Pacheco got his. He had 24 carries, more than the entire Ravens combined, frankly. Only 68 yards. Again, stopping him. He averaged 2.8 on the ground. The Ravens defense was there, but the Chiefs, they continued. They moved along. Of course, Travis Kelce was a big part of this game plan. He had 11 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. He had himself quite a day. Of course, Miss Swift was in the stands, so he had to perform. And yeah, he was just getting open. He was struggling a little bit, but now he's pretty much solidified himself. Probably the greatest tight end postseason performance of all time, potentially. Sue me. Yeah, he was getting open. And I feel like, so honestly, I feel like they don't even run plays for him. They just say, hey, Kelsey, line up here. If it's a zone coverage, find the soft zone. If it's man, get that man off you. I really think that that's what they tell Kelsey to do. Like, I think he has the freedom to do that because he does it. He finds the open spots as well as anybody in the league. Rashee Rice as receiver 2. Yeah, 8 receptions for 46 yards. Not bad, but again, the Ravens defense was all over everything. And Baltimore's offense couldn't execute. They took a field goal late in the game that made it 17-10. But the Chiefs drained on the clock. Lamar Jackson had a chance. They had a chance. Throws it into triple coverage to Isaiah Likely. Picked off. That's the game. But yeah, pretty much, like, I don't really know exactly what else you want me to say. The Ravens played a sloppy game. They played a bad game. Bad game plan. It was bad from the start. Kyle Hamilton was a star. He had himself 9 tackles, 2 assists, so 11 tackles total. He was all over the line of scrimmage, all over the screens. He had, Kelsey's touchdown pass was on his head top, but that's fine. He played good defense on it, in my opinion. But the best thing to counter good defense is better offense, and that's exactly what happened. He's still young. He's going to be a star in the league. Patrick Queen was the second leading tackler as well. Roquan Smith, he had himself his plays. Of course, he's been one of the better linebackers in the league. And the pass rush, it just seemed like it really wasn't getting to Mahomes as much as it used to, or as much as it has been with other teams. Yes, I was giving their defense a lot of praise, but not necessarily the pass rush. Yeah, they got, how many sacks did they get? It looked like two sacks, I believe. So nothing too insane there, but I mean, scheme wise, yeah, they were there. Passing, yeah. So Ravens, they won all the numbers game except for rushing yards. Just looking at the box score here. Third down efficiency, 3 for 11. That's sorry. Fourth down efficiency, they were 2 for 2 though. Yeah. Chiefs had 73 total. This is my first time looking at this as well. Chiefs had 73 total plays. The Ravens had 57. Ravens allowed 4 sacks. Again, the Ravens offensive line, we'll talk about those now. Coach Spagnuolo for the Kansas City Chiefs was in his bag this game. He was getting pressured on Lamar, which is a tough thing to do. The Ravens offensive line just was Swiss cheese. It was bad. It was bad. Lamar was not able to do as Lamar does. Now, yes, he got his, he was a leading rusher with 54, and he had a lot of it's carried by he had a 21-yard run on a 3rd or 4th down. I thought he was gone, but got caught up. He had a pretty cool throw to himself. He threw it. I forget who deflected it. One of the linemen deflected it, and then him and Justin Reed were both going for it, and he made the snag, and he got himself, I want to say he got the first down. But yeah, other than that, I think the Ravens just bailed on the run game, and way too early. You can't give up on the run game that early. We've seen that come back and hurt teams that like to run. We've seen it hurt the 49ers. I had to mention them. And yeah, the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl in Vegas, and so that's fun. That's exciting. I know a lot of people thought that this was the Ravens' year. This was Lamar Jackson's year. He had an incredible season, but unfortunately, the playoff choker talk will never end. That agenda is still alive and well. Maybe not well. It sounds like that I'm hating on Lamar. I like Lamar. I thought that the Ravens were actually going to win. I just picked the Chiefs to win because you can't ever bet against Mahomes. Point proven. This is supposed to be a down year for the Chiefs. They're in the Super Bowl. That's insane. Patrick Mahomes is going on trying to win his 3rd Super Bowl now. Wow. He's going to solidify himself into top 5 talks of all time. And now the NFC Championship game. Probably won't take too long on this, but it was a heck of a game. A way better game than the AFC Championship. I feel like the AFC Championship game, if you like defense, you'll enjoy that one. If you like fun, explosive plays, you'll like the NFC game. The Detroit Lions going into Santa Clara taking on the San Francisco 49ers, the 1 seed. The Detroit Lions coming in, they were like 7.5-point underdogs or 6.5-point underdogs. And boy, did they put up a fight. First half, 24-7. Third quarter, the Niners outscore them 17-0. And then in the fourth quarter, the Niners outscore them 10-7. Final score being 34-31. What an unlikely comeback for the 49ers. They were down 70-point deficit. And then it seemed like in an instant after the halftime, they took over. The crowd was loud. Brock Purdy was feeling it. McCaffrey, everybody was feeling it. It was quite a takeover. The Detroit Lions, I feel like they struggled a lot in the passing game. Jared Goff was missing a lot of throws, but also his receivers were dropping a lot of passes. Amon-Ra dropped him passes. Josh Reynolds especially, he had one right here. It's right here. Dropped it. That was a fourth down. Dan Campbell catching a lot of heat on social media for not taking a field goals and punting it, for going for it in bad positions and stuff. It is what it is. I was just saying, listen, this is how Campbell got here. You know, that it was his whole philosophy, this aggressiveness. Or go for it on fourth down. We do this, we do that. All grit, all grit. That was their hashtag. And it came back to bite them, dude. Like, I think a lot of people predicted that it would come back to bite them at some point, and it came back at the worst time. Dan Campbell it could have been a tie game. He went for it, and then Josh Reynolds, I believe that's when he dropped the pass. Other than that, though, on the ground, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery had 93 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs had 45 yards. Jameson Williams had a 42-yard touchdown. So that was big. Passing yards, the Niners had 258 versus 260 from the Lions. They also won the rushing game. Yards per play for the Niners. It was close, dude. It was close, especially when you look at the numbers here. They were both 6 for 12 on third down efficiency, fourth down efficiencies. This is big here. Dan Campbell was only 1 for 3. There you are. That doesn't happen very often. Both allowing 2 sacks. Brock Purdy's coming back to back. Jared Goff's both sacks coming from Nick Bosa, who a lot of people are complaining about to wake up. And then 49ers, Brock Purdy, he threw an interception, which didn't end up becoming anything major, really. Overall, the Niners, though, they played a heck of a game. Defensively, it was a story against Green Bay as well. They couldn't control the C gap. The contain was non-existent. Chase Young, Nick Bosa, you would think those guys are insane off the edge. They're getting washed out by receivers, especially Chase Young. Teams are purposely going towards his side. Now, in the second half, he was a little bit better. He was making a lot of run-stopping plays. But even that, when they don't go inside, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, those guys, they're also getting pushed out of their A and B gaps. So it was just a poor performance from the 49ers defense in the first half, and their offense couldn't really find a rhythm because of that. And the Lions took advantage of it. However, could not back it up, and they take the L. The Lions safety, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, was talking a lot of trash about Deebo Samuel early in the year. He got his chance. Oh, he didn't do nothing. I don't even know if he played, brother. I know he got stiff-armed by McCaffrey. He sucker pushed Deebo. Well, Deebo wasn't looking. He got flagged for it. That was good. But yeah, overall, really well played second half for the 49ers, proving that this team can come back from behind. They're talented enough. That was the whole thing. Can this team come back from behind? Can Brock Purdy win from behind? Kyle Shanahan said, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yeah, they didn't give up on the run early. I thought that they should have ran it a lot more with McCaffrey, which they did later on once they started getting a lead. McCaffrey had himself 20 carries. In the Lions, their run game, really efficient. Really efficient. Jahmyr Gibbs' speed off the edge was, oh my goodness. Sam Laporta was the Lions' leading receiver with 9 receptions, 97 yards. He almost had a touchdown as well. It just got away from him. Amon-Ra was number 2, 7 receptions, 87 yards. He was open. It seemed like every dang play they went to him, he was open. He was unstoppable. The 49ers, again, 2 sacks, one by Malcolm Rodriguez. The other was by, oh man, who was it by? Oh, he's not on here. It was one of the linemen. I thought it was, Sorry, no. The pick was by Malcolm Rodriguez. The sacks came from Tyson Alulu, Ifeati Melifonu, and Alem McNeil. And again, both the Niner sacks coming from Nick Bosa. It was quite a game. It was a fun game. Got the heart racing. And, I know a lot of people were going for Detroit. They were hoping Detroit would go to the Super Bowl because they've sucked for years on end. Unfortunately, it seemed like they're a cursed franchise. I mean, they blew a 17-point lead. Ironic. I enjoyed it, of course. But, Lions, maybe next year. It'll be interesting to see how they do without Ben Johnson next year, who sounds like he's going to go to Washington. And so Dan Campbell will have to coach up this team a lot more, or maybe let's see who they go on to get. But yeah, the Detroit Lions choke a 17-point game. We've got a Niners-Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. I believe Super Bowl 54, I want to say. 2019 was the first matchup where the Chiefs won 31-20. And now the Niners, they're hungry. They want their lick back. The guys like Debo, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, George Kittle, they've got a bad taste in their mouth for it. And I do think it's going to be quite a game. But we will talk about it later on here on the 14 days of the Super Bowl. So, folks, make sure you turn into the Gold Rush podcast if you want to hear my 49ers takes. Come back here. We'll talk more about the Super Bowl weekend. We'll talk more about the regular season. We'll probably go into our award predictions too. Boy, we've got a lot of stuff planned. Again, I'm your host, Jamin Takar. Make sure you follow the TikTok, the Twitter, the Instagram. Everything will be in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Run Amok. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.